their purchaser is armed with their smartphone, the internet, and there's all
Hmm.
this information.
Hmm.
Of the
Hmm.
revenue that you make, right? And much like in a startup.
Yes, man, and let's get some of our old soldiers back out.
Musicians to be professional. They know how to talk.
To help them wake up happy. It's
I
not
love
about a
that.
rectangle at a price.
All right, y'all. We're tuning in for another episode of Baked Out Radio Show. I am your host, and I have another interview being brought via Zoom, courtesy of Podmatch. I have Jeff Giagnocavo, who has an illustrious career. So, one, I wanted to get into the business aspect of that, but also the marketing, building stuff. So, let's see. Jeff is a longtime champion of small businesses. I love that. He has unveiled his latest endeavor in the space for leadership. From selling his first business at 16 to embarking on a successful entrepreneurial journey, Jeff is now a sought after consultant for business owners who are seeking to regain control of their lives and business destinies. Welcome, Jeff. How you doing today?
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Andres. Appreciate it, man.
So
Excited to be here with you.
you started your first business very young. Where did that seed of, inception come from?
I grew up around entrepreneurism. Both of my grandfathers were entrepreneurs in their own way.
Hmm.
Actually, my paternal grandfather, very interesting man. One of his traits was stubbornness. If he
Hmm.
wasn't so stubborn, I wouldn't be here. I'd be a trust fund baby right now, maybe.
Mm.
That would, of course, assume that everything else lined up as it had transpired. But that little pour spout on your detergent bottle in your laundry room,
Hmm.
that was my grandfather. That was his invention.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and Procter and Gamble came to him in the late 50s and said, when plastics were being, really rising, and said, hey, we see you got this. We want you to be on the team. We want to buy it. We want to buy the rights, which weren't protected. Uh, my grandfather had a tremendous distrust in the government, and for good reason. But well, reasons I completely understand, I should say. And
Hmm.
so they took it because he didn't have it protected. He
Hmm.
felt he could do better without them.
Yeah.
Um, and then it happened again. He had a cleaning agent called Flisk,
Hmm.
which ended up being Whisk laundry detergent today. Um,
Mm.
and so and so stubbornness is something I didn't know of my grandfather at the time. Very loving man, loved his grandkids, was into education and into books.
Hmm.
Real dynamic guy that way, and believed in the power of educating yourself and perseverance. I grew up around it and grew up
Hmm.
around his entrepreneurism, and so that's where it started. So
Hmm.
really, a real interesting individual. So I saw a lot of good qualities as a kid, and then came to learn, as I grew older, like, there was this quality and that quality that wasn't so great, but
Hmm.
overall, just a great guy.
That's what's up. So you got to, like, pick and choose, what you wanted to adapt into your own, strategies and things of that nature. I love it. So you built your businesses and you're a co-owner of Gardner's Mattress and More, where that's
Yep.
the sleep well, mattress industry.
Mhm.
And you have done things to where y'all have won for 13 years in a row, been named Reader's Choice favorite place to buy a mattress.
Yeah.
How do you build a business and get it to that level where you're getting that type of esteem and recognition? What do you have to do to get it there?
Yeah, our goal, I love this question. Actually, in an industry Facebook group, the question was posed, what makes your location the best location?
Hmm.
And for me, it comes down to two words of focus, separation and 5 stars.
Hmm.
So the 5 star is that 5 star review experience that we want our customers to give us. We strive to be the very best purchasing experience in the entire home.
Mm-hmm.
So that means we're up against the new living room furniture,
Mm-hmm.
the hardscape deck remodel, the hot
Mhm.
tub, the
Mhm.
in-ground swimming pool, the
Mhm.
home theater, the car in the garage, the boats, the motorcycles, the ATVs. That's the bar we want to create. I don't care what the measuring stick is between me and my competition.
Mhm.
They're welcome at my table,
Yeah.
my competition, but they have a hard time pulling up the chair
Yeah.
because that second word I come in is all about separation. We do things entirely different than our industry does. We work far harder than we should on paper.
Mm.
Like one of these points I made out back to that question in the industry group is my business partner and I, we leave about $250,000 a year on the table by not aligning with the name brands that listeners of this show and you would know, like Serta, Sealy, Simmons,
Mhm.
Tempur-Pedic. Okay. All those brands are two major companies. Um, and aligning with one of them and being an exclusive partner with them would afford us a tremendous amount of advertising co-op dollars that wouldn't
Mhm.
have to come out of our pocket.
Mhm.
There would be tremendous benefit in floor model agreements and cost and expense,
Mhm.
rebates, incentives, travel to trade shows would be paid for most likely.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things that we forego because being with them means we're just like everybody else. And now I'm at their table.
Yeah.
I want to be at my table.
Mhm.
And when I say others are welcome to join me at my table, I give back to our industry. People can Google my name and see what I mean by that.
Mhm.
Like I did a video blog to the industry and did a published newsletter to the industry, and I still have some coaching and products within the industry.
Mhm.
So I do a lot of guidance and give back. And so when I say you're welcome to join me, that's fine. But I'm not going to talk about price, product, and promotion. We're going to
Mhm.
talk about experience and finding the best fit for our customers and affirming that we're the choice. And we're going to help them wake up happy. It's
I
not
love
about a
that.
rectangle at a price. It's about maximizing your life. Because when our people in our county are sleeping better, it's that third leg in the wellness and success stool of diet, exercise, and sleep.
Mhm.
And when our county is better, our people are better, our county is better, it's a better place to live. And that's our purpose.
I love that. It, like you said, it's far beyond the product price and promotion. It's
Mhm.
it's the purpose is like you said, people waking up happy.
Yeah.
Setting yourself apart like that, right? You're in industries and people have the things they do, like you said, the traditional way of putting themselves out there and positioning themselves. What kind of I guess resistance did y'all get in putting yourselves out there like that? Because you're standing on integrity.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so one example is I refuse to play the 50 to 80% off game,
Mm-hmm.
right? The fake discounts that don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm a consumer too. I appreciate getting a deal,
Mm-hmm.
but I love getting great value.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I believe how you buy is how you should sell, right? And so value, we're unmatched. You go look at our reviews online, we have tons of people who say that our pricing was the best around.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we don't rip people off. We don't give things away.
Mm-hmm.
We exceed that dollar they expected to pay by delivering more value.
Mm-hmm.
We affirm the right fit. And I've said that word a couple of times because I believe in this day and age, in the time we're in, with the amount of information at hand that maybe your listeners um, struggle to curate, struggle to work with, work against, have working against them, their purchaser is armed with their smartphone, the internet, and there's all
Mm-hmm.
this information,
Mm-hmm.
and they're empowered. Information's been democratized,
Mm-hmm.
and that consumer in front of them is empowered and has a great disbelief that the person they're buying from, because that money's got to exchange hands, so there's already this kind of butting of heads. They believe that they're against them, so they weaponize themselves and armor themselves up with this information,
Mm-hmm.
and they're looking for you and me to trip up and fall as we're selling things to them and working with them.
Yeah.
You can avoid all that by just saying, we're here to affirm that what we have fits your needs. And if
Hmm.
it doesn't fit, that's okay. We'll
Yeah.
refer you to somebody else that might have a better fit.
Hmm.
We don't have a problem with that. And so when you take that approach in this industry, that in that mattress industry that I have interest in and business in, it's very different because the whole industry has been built on get it in your home,
Hmm.
same day, next day, because once it's in your home, it's like deal's done, goodbye,
Hmm.
right? And we don't one night stand our customers. And so um, we've just never done that deep discounting. And it took a while for us to really cement that and have that expectation of people that when you come here, you know, you're getting, it's like going to a really nice steakhouse.
Hmm.
It's not the Applebee's all you can eat steak for $14.99,
Exactly.
you know? Um, and so if you appreciate that kind of experience, we're absolutely your place. So it took a little while.
Yeah.
And we had some people that, just couldn't buy it because we couldn't scratch that quote unquote savings itch for them.
Hmm.
But we got better at presenting the value, and now we're that market leader.
How long have y'all been that market leader? Like, how long is it going into? Like, is this like 10, 12 years now?
So the business has been serving Lancaster County, PA, for 34 years.
Okay.
24 of those years, my business partner, Ben, was with the company.
Hmm.
And then 14 years ago, we bought it.
Hmm.
And I would say for the last 12 years, we've been that leader. If you're truly invested as somebody, if
Hmm.
sleep is something you're trying to get the answer to,
Hmm.
we're the place to go.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just because we work harder. It goes back to that, like we don't have one vendor, we have like 12,
Hmm.
which is just stupid dumb from a you go to college and that would be opposite of what the textbooks and the professor tell you.
Yeah.
But it's also that secret sauce for people who are looking for that answer. They don't want to just hear what one brand has to say versus this other brand.
Hmm.
They want to taste everything because, again, that information's been democratized and they're empowered with it.
Hmm.
So they've been exposed to these things and they want to see them. And so they're going to get to experience that with us.
How do you build a 5-star customer experience? What goes into that process?
Yeah, we have it laid out. We call it our 7-step wake up happy promise. And
Hmm.
I challenge everybody listening, like you have to have that answer, and you need to be able to sell it and promote it and then live it. And so, for us, it's right on our site. Um, the very first step is about educating. We want to educate you. We want to be able to have, like I say, we want to know that people um, are finding the right fit with us. We want to be able to affirm. We don't want to sell you. Um, we don't really want to sell you anything. We want you to know that what you're investing in is the right fit, whether that's a $500 investment or whether that's a $5,000 investment, right? So we wrote this book called Sleep Better.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, when you write a book and you put your name on it and you distribute, I think we're now up to of this book, and then we had our first guide. Between these two pieces of literature that we
Hmm.
distribute, I think we're in the 40,000 copy range,
Mm.
somewhere around that point. Print
Hmm.
copies.
Yeah.
Okay. Digital, I have no idea because they're in email autoresponders and funnels. So I couldn't possibly pretend to know. But
Hmm.
when you have that much out there, um, you really got to live it, right? Like words and actions really mean something, which for me as a person and a leader is like one of my core values. Having actions always meet words and words always meet actions.
Hmm.
And so that first step is educate. That's all we want to do. When you
Yeah.
walk in our store, it's like it's hello, hey Andres, tell me, why
Hmm.
are you here shopping for a mattress today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not uncaring. Like I don't go in for the whole build rapport by asking about the weather,
Mm-hmm.
asking about how your day is. Because I say to people, well, so somebody says, hey, how are you? Welcome in. How was your day? Well, it's actually been pretty crappy.
Mm-hmm.
Grandma died this morning. I found out on the
Yeah.
way here. I got in a car accident because I was thinking about my grandma, and I probably just shouldn't have left the house.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can be empathetic to that, but you're really sad you asked, right?
Yeah.
And people, I think they're just so conditioned to like not even hear those words anymore. But when you use words like tell me, it requires an answer subconsciously in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And that begins our conversation around truth.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that truth is, well, I bought an online mattress and I'm not enjoying it.
Yeah.
Sometimes that truth is, I invested in this really expensive mattress 5 years ago and it's letting me down.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that truth is, he snores like a Mack truck and I'm sleeping in the guest room and we're only 32. We don't want to sleep like our grandparents in separate beds.
Yeah.
And so once you understand that truth, things become so much easier. And so that's step two is our, that's where we just want to talk. We want to understand, do our solutions fit your needs? We want to be that affirmation point. We want to help you organize and stack and understand that information that you're looking at. We're going to let you explore. That's step three. And like exploring really means being able to experience things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not just what we want you to experience. There's a big trend in the industry right now with pressure testing and dream mapping and all of this stuff. And it's basically a weight scale
Mm-hmm.
reconfigured through a fitted sheet that's on a mattress.
Mm-hmm.
And it weighs you. It weighs your pressure on your shoulders, your hips, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And that can tell you a lot until you understand that the computer spits out the answers only relevant to the product on your floor.
Mm.
The computer will never spit out an answer for you as a consumer that isn't in the store you're visiting.
Mm-hmm.
That's not science. That's sales.
Mm-hmm.
And it's dirty sales.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep is a tactile experience. It's a sensory experience. It's touch, it's smell,
Mm-hmm.
it's temperature,
Mm-hmm.
it's feeling, it's relaxation, it's breathing. So we let you experience all that in our store. We have when you go to the casino and
Mm-hmm.
you smell those nice aromas,
Mm-hmm.
we have that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I subscribe to some service, I forget what it's even called, that has music, and the music is programmed to time of day, seasonality,
Mm-hmm.
upbeat, downbeat, more amped up, less amped up, things like that. It's also licenses are in place. You, with your music industry experience, know
Yeah.
that that's important.
Mm-hmm.
So like that experience and exploration is real important. We allow people to try before they buy. We have our dream room. That's step 4.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like a hotel suite in our store. We'll move in what you want and you can try it out. This is like before the last 4 years in the car game. The stick was send you home with the car for the weekend.
Yeah.
Right. If you're a great car salesman, you would say, hey, take this minivan home. My little thing about minivans is like they're the worst mojo killer ever. When my wife and I had our second kid, my wife was still working, and we leased a Chrysler Town and Country Touring Limited, some other adjective in there. This
Mm-hmm.
thing was like leather seats, push button, everything. This is like 2004 or no,
Mm-hmm.
2008 when my youngest was born.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, wow, this is a cool car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until you get to date night
Yeah.
and you're out on date night in a minivan. And it was just like not cool at all. But that's what the car game used to be. Flip you the keys and you get to try it. Date night, go get groceries, go to church, drive to work maybe, go do
Mm-hmm.
some errands, and you experience it. The other flip side of that is your neighbors see it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you don't want to be too cheap and not get the car, right? So that was the dream room was born out of that of let's let people experience it without some of those underhanded tactics and manipulative tactics of your neighbors are going to see it. You want
Mm-hmm.
to save face or you're just going to buy it. Um, so the dream room really lets people experience the product. We move the mattress in, they get to try it, close the door, take a nap, read a book, watch TV. Don't do anything you don't want mom to see. That's all we ask.
Mm-hmm.
And when people do that with us, they buy 100% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's a great sales process step to know you're going to make a sale.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's affirming. It affirms that this is the right fit for the person. Um, we ask, one of our fifth step is to invest, right? Like, so when you say, what's that look like? How does this work? I'm not afraid to ask you for your money
Mm-hmm.
because I know those first four steps make sense. And I know step five, you're going to spend money somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Why not spend it with my business where it's local? We support our community. Every week we do a podcast show like yours,
Mm-hmm.
um, that we highlight local charities, local businesses doing good, supporting our community. We shine light on people that otherwise would never get any light
Mm-hmm.
shine their way. And we create video content for them. We create reels for them. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, quite honestly, I mean, I've bought 3-minute commercials that were subsidized from our local newspaper that I spent $2,500 on as a
Mm-hmm.
business owner. I know the package we're creating for these folks each week has that value and more.
Mm-hmm.
And it lives forever on social media. And,
Mm-hmm.
and as a business, we believe that we need to support our community. We can't just take from it by selling,
Yeah.
right? You have to support, you got to give back to it.
Yeah.
And, so we do that. We're big supporters of Off the Streets, which is a charity getting people out of homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
We donated $34,000 in mattresses last year to them in 23. We write checks to a lot of the charities that come on the show, and we find ways to say yes. It may not always be money, but
Yeah.
we find ways to say yes. So when I say invest, I'm not just saying invest because I'm a small business. I'm saying invest because we believe in our community,
Yeah.
and some of what you invest here goes right back into your town.
Exactly. So let's talk about I just saw it on here. Okay. Business owners and like getting out your way because I think out of their own way. Because I think some people get caught up in that, and I see that a lot. How can business owners get out of their own way?
It's a loaded question, and
Mm-hmm.
it's one that finds an answer with each individual. But
Mm-hmm.
I think it really has to come down to like what, and it sounds cliche, but what is your purpose? Why are you doing what you're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Right now I'm in the middle of a 3-week stint where I've been walking around, well, not 3 weeks, 2 weeks, walking around with a pulse oxygen of 89 to 90. My doctors can't figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a bunch more tests tomorrow. I'd have had them today if it wasn't for snow.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bunch more tests this week,
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow. But my purpose is multifaceted. And no matter what comes of this, I don't think anything's going to come of it. But let's say something bad did. I'm going to be
Mm-hmm.
really comfortable with what I've accomplished in life.
Mm-hmm.
And so through the retail business, the purpose is to help our community wake up happy so we can be better producers, happier in the morning when we leave our kids, when we leave our loved ones,
Mm-hmm.
and really contribute to the town we live in.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do things right and you sleep well, that's what happens. And we can be a part of that. So figure out who you are, or like what do you really want in life? And don't just give the answer of, well, I want my kids to be this, I want my spouse to be that. Like really figure out what you need, what fills you up, so then you can fill other people up.
Mm-hmm. Have you gotten to the point where, because I know people are inspired by you, you have accomplished, and you're doing a lot more stuff than, you're not just running a business. Like you said, you're running your own shows, you've written these books. So
Mhm.
you're giving back in ways that, is so tangible and, people can quantify that. But have you run across where people have followed your story and told you that, since they saw you pursuing your dreams and chasing your goals, they started to do theirs?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a very rewarding thing. I believe we're at this point in time where, I've got this rock here on my desk. It sits right on my mouse pad.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the word healing on it.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we're living in a really hurt world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a lot of people walking around with a lot of issues unaddressed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and, you know, especially men, because
Mm-hmm.
our society, for the longest time has not allowed men to uh, live out issues and things that have happened in their past or things that happen in the present.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's been my focus this last really 2 years is that healing. And I believe when we do that and we have a focus on growing our humans and making them be better humans, the humans we lead
Mm-hmm.
and can be leaders for, because everybody needs a leader,
Yeah.
right? Like past presidents look up to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady has coaches and influencers in his life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, think of anybody famous, they've got people that lead them. So you can be a leader for somebody else just because you may not think it, but I guarantee you, if you've overcome something, that's a struggle turned into strength. And if you own it, it becomes your superpower.
Mm-hmm.
And that superpower can translate for other people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've done that for people just in the real tangible, tactical stuff in the mattress industry. I've
Mm-hmm.
shown them you don't just have to sling these $300, $500, $1,000 rectangles. Now, it doesn't mean you just go rip people off and put another zero on.
Yeah.
You got to do all the other value stuff. But you can push out of what the conventional norms are
Mm-hmm.
and better provide for your employees, for your family, for your community. Because when
Mm-hmm.
you make more money, you can do more things for people.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I've had people just by telling my story, being able to stand in my own struggle turned into strength and now superpower of being a living example of courage, focused
Mm-hmm.
on healing.
Mm-hmm.
People have seen, oh, wow, I'm not the only one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that person that's just dealt with these issues. Right. And so yeah, I mean, I find that very rewarding and I look to make things like that happen. Um, so yes.
So you're well versed in marketing, and you have, what is it? Oh, and on any given day, more than 500 retail door fronts where your ideas and tools and softwares are being used.
Yep.
Where does that ingenious come from?
So it's all about it's really about thinking about the word leverage.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So years ago, we built our own, and where that number 500 or so door fronts comes from is this. We years ago built our own CRM,
Mm-hmm.
customer relationship management tool. And, that's a question everybody asks, what's the best one? Well, you got to figure out what you want to accomplish first,
Mm-hmm.
because by and large, they're all pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a function of what do you need to happen? And most importantly, how are you going to interface with it?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the answer we needed. So we took a core software solution in the
Mm-hmm.
CRM industry, and then we got some custom code done, and we took some other apps and we Frankensteined it all together
Mm-hmm.
into something we called Automatic Mattress Profits,
Mm-hmm.
or AMP. And that solution was about helping brick and mortar furniture mattress store owners plug all the holes in their bucket.
Mm-hmm.
When you make a sale, certain things must happen. When you get a lead, certain things got to happen to cultivate that lead into a prospect into your store.
Mm-hmm.
When you make that face-to-face presentation, if the sale isn't that next step, then a quote should be, and then what happens? And so we built this software to work that way for us. But from day one, we bit the bullet on a pretty big, substantial monthly investments and costs with the idea that we can leverage this
Mm-hmm.
into something for others.
Yeah.
And so that something for others, basically became a company, a marketing automation company, if you will, where
Mm-hmm.
we created or just white labeled out our solutions for others.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that company has evolved over the years. Really, we basically just create and manage CRMs for licensing organizations.
Yeah.
Because licensing is a step down from franchising. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't quite have the legal teeth
Mm-hmm.
that franchising has, but there's still a lot of similar organization.
Yeah.
It's also a really good step, and none of our clients have done this because they don't want it, but licensing is a great step to franchising, because
Yeah.
when you have all the licensing stuff done right, it's really easy to go then to SEC, FTC, and say, well, here's what we're doing and here's how it can be replicated.
Mm-hmm.
So when you said 500 doors, yeah, that's like my stuff, our process, Ben and my ideas and Ben's prowess. My business partner at the store is also a business partner in the marketing automation company.
Mm-hmm.
He is a genius at making this stuff work, like can go find the answer and make it work, even though
Mm-hmm.
he's not a computer programmer.
Mm-hmm.
He knows how to ask the right question.
Yeah.
It's kind of like today, Chat GPT, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's people that are doing brilliant things with Chat GPT, and it all comes down to asking the right question and then a better question and a better one.
Yeah. So what do you like to focus on now? Because you have so many different things that you're doing at this particular point in your life. What, like, what are you getting the most thrill out of?
Right now, it's my sons.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, look, the business stuff runs. I'm sitting at home here today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm blessed and grateful for the businesses that I've built, the teams that I have around me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we unfortunately had to let go of our lead delivery driver, just was no longer a fit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it came at a rough time because I'm not there to physically be able to fill some of those gaps.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can't get onto to the delivery truck right now until I get this health stuff figured out.
Mm-hmm.
But the team has pulled all that together. So the
Mm-hmm.
business stuff runs, but right now I'm really into my kids. Not that I've never not been. That sounds
Mm-hmm.
odd, but but like my oldest boy, and I apologize to your watchers and listeners. Normally I'm in my studio upstairs, so if there's been a little background noise, I
Yeah,
just can't.
you're fine.
I have to sit here today and do this show.
I've had my kids in my actual interviews.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. It's funny. The two dogs, the two pit bulls back on the
uh-huh.
other side of the house, they're more into the routine than the family members are around here through the middle of the
Mm-hmm.
day. They
Mm-hmm.
know how to behave better than the adults do, but
Yeah.
I digress. So my sons are a lot to me. My relation with my wife is a lot to me,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm helping on my oldest Ethan at 19. He's not a college kid, so we're using these college years as build your career years.
Okay.
Figure out what you want years, which really is what college is about.
Yeah.
Uh, he's just not a book kid. He doesn't want to sit in a classroom,
No, I get it.
and we're not going to go spend hundred
Yeah,
thousand dollars that we
exactly.
don't need. So he's in management with Chick-fil-A right now, which is opening doors. He likely will end up in a trade.
Mm-hmm.
He's eyeing up HVAC. Um, so that's a cool trade to get into.
Mm-hmm.
And then my youngest is into football.
Okay.
Um, he's really into football. I believe we've really got a good chance to go far.
Mm-hmm.
But that first step is college, and then you got to execute those 4 years
Yeah.
or five, and then see what happens. But we're all
Yeah.
in. We're
Yeah.
weekly camps, diet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I actually taught him. We worked Chat GPT through to get a meal plan
Mm-hmm.
because he wants to put on some more muscle
Mm-hmm.
mass.
Mm-hmm.
So between him and the other one, they're eating about 9,000 calories of food a day.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
dad's got to keep hustling because that grocery
Yeah.
bill is not cheap.
It is not. And then the price of food has gone up too exponentially. Ugh.
Yep.
So, do you get the opportunity to mentor, aspiring, business people in your community, things of that nature, or even virtually?
Yeah, I mean, part of my income is derived from coaching,
Hmm.
consulting. Um, so yes, that answer is yes at a high level. But on a give back level, I do that as well. Like I sit on a board for our career center.
Hmm.
Um, so or as you and I might know it better, like local vote tech.
Hmm.
Um, I'm a big fan of career centers. I
Hmm.
think what goes on in education today is borderline criminal. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, and we could talk about that as much as you want. We could do a whole show on that, but um, I think I think the bedrock of education is shifting under our kids' feet, our parents' feet, and our teachers' feet all at the same time.
Hmm.
And all I'm asking is that we can agree to that statement.
Yeah.
I don't, I'm not saying I have the answer,
Hmm.
but I know this much. Education right now with AI, their answer is fight it.
Hmm.
So think about that. If you've got a freshman in high school right now,
Hmm.
education moves at a snail's pace. Your freshman is going to go through all the high school and college with education fighting AI, which means for the next 8 years, the eventual workplace they're going to go to
Hmm.
has 8 years of embracing
Hmm.
AI technology, which
Hmm.
means your child's going to graduate college and have a high school
Behind.
diploma with a 16-year disadvantage.
Yep.
And you paid for that.
Hmm.
I use like, look at, I can't say look at as example because I can't show it to you, but trust me when I say, when Aiden and I spent about 40 minutes prompting Chat GPT to get the right meal plan, he had a trainer nutritionist really wasn't working out. They weren't jiving.
Hmm.
Um, we cut him out. I didn't necessarily need to save that money, but it's like, well, this ain't working. And I hate wasting money that way.
Yeah.
So I just did what I do. I took to the career center. I'm on our business management entrepreneurship board, and I'm
Hmm.
now on our education funds board. In the BME class, they had a product called Be Fresh.
Hmm.
Be Fresh is a natural juice virtual company.
Okay.
Okay. There's a big thing in career centers and the BME programs nationally called Virtual Entrepreneurship International.
Hmm.
So VEI sits over all your local career center programs and teaches entrepreneurship to kids. They build virtual companies. They do business plans, funding plans, finance, logistics, marketing, sales. They basically build companies from scratch in a virtual environment. I think it's
Hmm.
fantastic.
Hmm.
So BeFresh is a national competitor from our local career center, and they came out with a new product called Smoothies.
Hmm.
So I said, how are they promoting it? How are they marketing it? Because I immediately thought of JB Smoove, the spokesman for DraftKings and or no
Hmm.
Caesars,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
He's a comedian actor, but right now he's all over television for Caesars and DraftKings, I think, right? So I gave him the prompts right there in the class.
Hmm.
Promote Be Fresh's new uh, all natural organic smoothie drink called Smoothies in the voice of JB Smoove.
Hmm.
And we got the first prompt back. And then we said, well, let's tweak this, let's tweak that. And they had something great to go market this new product with.
Hmm.
And see, when I say the bedrock of education is shifting, that example there, and I don't in any way fancy myself an educator, but I do say I'm somebody who's always challenging for a better answer because I'm asking better questions.
Hmm.
And that's the problem right now. That's the bedrock that's shifting. And so we have a real problem with education. We got to be able to guide our kids. That's why for when you said, what are you working on? What's got you excited right now? It's my kids.
Yeah.
Because and in a way, it's the other kids around me that I know, their friends, my community,
Hmm.
as best that I can.
Definitely. Oh man, I can sit there. I can talk to you for hours. But I know the show must go on and things of that nature. So Jeff, what are two pieces of advice you could leave with any aspiring entrepreneur in taking their steps towards, hitting their goals?
Yeah, I mean, first one would be really take serious the money people give you. We went over that 7-step wake up happy
Mm-hmm.
promise. We got
Mm-hmm.
through the first five. The last two are our service, right? It's get your stuff delivered by a pro, and then the last one is we don't one night stand our customers. We call every customer
Mm-hmm.
on the phone or text, and just ask, are you enjoying your purchase? So really care about the money people give you,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know what it took for them to get that money.
Mm-hmm.
And even as good of a job as you do qualifying, talking, discussing the need, finding the need, affirming the fit, all that stuff, you just may never get all the answers.
Yeah.
You don't know how hard they worked to arrive at doing business with you. So really respect it. That would be the first one. And the second is look for that bigger purpose. Look to create impact in your day at some level, whether it's with one or two people, one or two other businesses, one or
Mm-hmm.
two other vendors.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really look to ingrain impact into your day, into your week, into your month. Givers gain. When we make deposits into this world, those
Mm-hmm.
dividends come back to us.
I definitely agree with that. I actually just got off with John Hewitt, did an interview with him, and that's what he was talking about as well. So I love it. He was like,
Yep.
the more I gave, the more I got back. And it was like, I wasn't purposely doing
Even
it. I was a giver.
Yeah, even when it isn't financially feasible to do it.
Yeah.
Find a way, like I said, find a way to say yes. We get a lot of folks hitting us up, because we do the podcast show. One of the unfortunate byproducts is we have a lot of different folks coming to us with a handout. Some deserved, some not.
Mm-hmm.
Some earned, some not.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that's deserving, we find a way to say yes. It may not be money, it's product.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be product, it's time.
Mm-hmm.
Like use of our equipment, as an example. And
Mm-hmm.
so, that impact means finding a way to say yes. And it doesn't always have to be money.
Mm-hmm.
But start doing that, start ingraining that into your day.
Yeah. I definitely love it. But thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. This has been
Yeah, thank you.
It's been a great conversation. I look forward to, having you back on in the future and, seeing how bigger and even more impactful y'all have been. Much success to what you're doing. Hope everything works out with the kids. I know how that could be.
Yeah.
I got plenty of them
I'm
myself.
sure. I'm sure we will get the success we want because we're going after it.
That's what's up. Everybody out there, if y'all want to get in contact with Jeff, y'all can do so by going to the website. It's thejeffg.com and, checking out the books and things of that nature and, being able to learn and, why the books are good for you as well. So, make sure y'all go and do that. And as always, y'all can keep following the platform, Banked Out Radio Show, across all social medias and also the website.